What separates the top 1% from everyone else? Is it luck, talent, a rich background, special connections? Napoleon Hill spent over 20 years studying the most successful people in history, and he discovered something shocking. The top 1% do not think the way average people think. Success begins in the mind long before it appears in reality. The average person wakes up reacting to life. They complain about problems, focus on limitations, and wait for opportunities to come to them. But the top 1%, they create opportunities. They train their minds to see possibility where others see obstacles. Your current results are a reflection of your dominant thoughts. If you constantly think about lack, fear, and failure, your actions will unconsciously align with those beliefs. But if you begin to think with clarity, confidence, and purpose, your life starts moving in a different direction. This is not motivational fantasy. This is mental programming. Every wealthy entrepreneur, respected leader, and high achiever first mastered their internal world. Before they built businesses, they built discipline. Before they attracted success, they developed certainty. Before they changed their circumstances, they changed their identity. And here is the exciting part. This way of thinking is learnable. You do not need permission to start thinking like the top 1%. You do not need money to begin. You only need a decision to stop operating like the majority. In this video, you will discover 5 powerful lessons from Napoleon Hill that can immediately transform how you think, make decisions, and approach your future. If you stay until the end, you may realize that the biggest thing holding you back is not your environment, your resources, or your past, but your own mental habits. Watch until the end, because one lesson here could completely shift the direction of your life. Lesson 1. Develop a definite purpose. The architecture of a transcendent life is drafted first in the mind. Yet most people approach the blueprint of their existence with the blurred vision of a daydreamer rather than the sharp precision of a master builder. The top 1% are not merely interested in achievement. They are obsessed with the mechanics of clarity, understanding that a target you cannot see is a target you cannot hit. While the masses drift through the currents of life, hoping to eventually wash up on a shore of prosperity, the elite are busy charting a course with a fixed North Star. They realize that vagueness is the ultimate enemy of execution. Saying "I want to be wealthy" is as ineffective as telling a GPS you want to go somewhere nice. Without a specific destination, the engine of the human spirit idles, burning fuel but going nowhere. This is the fundamental difference between those who make history and those who merely watch it unfold. The presence of a definite chief aim. Napoleon Hill, after decades of studying the most prolific titans of industry, concluded that definiteness of purpose is the bedrock upon which all fortune is built. This is not a mere suggestion of focus. It is a psychological requirement for the mobilization of one's internal resources. When you define a goal with absolute precision, down to the dollar, the date, and the specific impact, you provide your subconscious mind with a set of marching orders. This clarity functions like a magnifying glass, focusing the sun's rays, while diffused light only warms, concentrated light burns. The human brain is a teleological mechanism, meaning it is goal-oriented by design. When you feed it a vivid, non-negotiable objective, it begins to filter the environment for opportunities, connections, and resources that were previously invisible. You stop seeing a world of problems and start seeing a world of components for your primary objective. One of the most profound benefits of a definite purpose is the immediate simplification of life's complex choices. In an era of infinite distraction and shiny object syndrome, the majority of people suffer from decision fatigue, paralyzed by 1,000 different directions they could take. However, for the individual with a clear purpose, decisions are no longer agonizing dilemmas. They are simple binary checks. Does this action move me closer to my definite aim, or does it lead me away? If it does not align, it is discarded without regret. This creates an aura of intentionality that others often mistake for luck. When you see someone moving with unshakable confidence, it is rarely because they have more talent. It is because they have more clarity. They have eliminated the internal friction of doubt by deciding once and for all exactly what they are after. To think like the top 1% requires you to move beyond the realm of wishes and into the realm of demands. A wish is a weak, flickering flame that dies out at the first sign of a cold wind. A definite purpose is a furnace. It requires you to sit in the silence of your own company and ask the hard questions. What is the singular thing I am willing to sacrifice for? What is the legacy that justifies my daily exertion? Most avoid this level of introspection because it carries the weight of responsibility. If you define exactly what you want, you can no longer blame bad luck for not having it. Yet this responsibility is the very thing that grants you power. The moment you stop scattering your energy in 10 different directions trying to be everything to everyone, your life gains the cutting edge of a laser. You transition from a wanderer to a conqueror. Lesson 2. Master self-discipline. Self-discipline is often misunderstood as a form of self-punishment, a rigid and joyless existence that denies the self for the sake of a distant goal. However, the top 1% view discipline through a completely different lens. They see it as the ultimate form of self-love and the only true path to freedom. To be undisciplined is to be a slave to your moods, your whims, and the external environment. If your productivity is tethered to your feelings, you are effectively giving control of your life to the weather, your digestion, or the latest headline. The elite recognize that motivation is a fickle friend that disappears the moment things get difficult. Therefore, they do not wait for the lightning bolt of inspiration to strike. They build a power plant of habit that runs regardless of the emotional climate. The philosophy of the top performer is built on the realization that feelings are temporary but habits are permanent. While the average person spends their morning negotiating with their alarm clock, the disciplined individual has already moved past the point of negotiation. They understand that every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you are casting a vote for the person you wish to become. Conversely, every time you let yourself off the hook because you don't feel like it, you are training your brain to prioritize comfort over character. Napoleon Hill described self-discipline as the bridge between desire and achievement. And like any bridge, it must be reinforced daily. Without it, the greatest ideas in the world remain trapped on the shore of someday, never reaching the land of reality. Mastering self-discipline also means mastering the art of impulse control in a world designed to exploit your weaknesses. We live in an economy of instant gratification, where every app and advertisement is engineered to pull you away from your long-term goals for the sake of a short-term dopamine hit. Thinking like the top 1% requires a radical reclamation of your attention. It means setting boundaries with your time, your social circles, and your own wandering thoughts. It is the ability to say no to a good opportunity so that you can say yes to a great one. It is the quiet, unglamorous work done behind the scenes when no one is watching and no one is cheering. This monastic focus on the task at hand is what eventually creates the overnight success that the world marvels at years later. Ultimately, self-discipline is about the alignment of your daily actions with your highest values. If you claim to value health but never exercise, or if you claim to value wealth but never save, there is a fundamental disconnect that creates internal misery. The top 1% eliminate this cognitive dissonance by forcing their body to follow their mind's commands. They recognize that the pain of discipline is measured in ounces while the pain of regret is measured in tons. By embracing the small daily discomforts of hard work, early mornings, and rigorous study, they insulate themselves against the massive, crushing discomfort of a life unlived. To think like the elite is to realize that you are the captain of your soul, and a captain who cannot control his own vessel will never survive the storm. Lesson 3. Turn obstacles into opportunities. The psychological divide between the top 1% and the rest of the world is never more apparent than in the face of a crisis. To the average mind, an obstacle is a stop sign, a signal from the universe that they have reached the limit of their abilities or that the path is closed. They personalize failure, viewing it as an indictment of their worth. But to the high achiever, an obstacle is a laboratory. It is a source of high-quality data that reveals the flaws in their current strategy. They do not see a wall. They see a puzzle that once solved will grant them the strength to reach the next level. This shift from "why is this happening to me" to "what is this teaching me" is the foundational pivot of the successful mindset. Napoleon Hill's famous observation that every adversity carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit is not just a bit of toxic positivity. It is a strategic principle used by the world's most resilient leaders. When a business fails, the average person sees a loss of capital. The top 1% see an expensive education in market dynamics and leadership. When a deal falls through, they see a liberation of time that can now be invested in a better partnership. They understand that growth is fundamentally an iterative process. You cannot build a muscle without resistance, and you cannot build a great destiny without friction. The very thing that threatens to break you is often the very thing that is refining you into someone capable of handling the success you desire. Consider the nature of innovation. It is almost always a response to a problem. If there were no obstacles, there would be no need for creative solutions and thus no progress. The elite lean into hardship because they know that difficulty acts as a natural filter, weeding out the uncommitted and the faint of heart. If a task were easy, everyone would do it, and the reward would be diluted to the point of worthiness. By welcoming the struggle, you are entering a space where the competition is thin. The top 1% do not pray for a lighter load, they pray for stronger shoulders. They look at a market crash, a personal betrayal, or a technological shift not as a disaster but as a reshuffling of the deck that allows the most adaptable players to win. This mastery over perception allows the elite to remain calm while others panic. They possess a reframing capability that turns leaden setbacks into golden opportunities. They understand that failure is never final unless you choose to stop, and that rejection is often just redirection toward a more suitable path. By mining every hardship for its hidden value, they ensure that they never truly lose. Even in defeat, they walk away with the wisdom, the resilience, and the scars of experience that will make their eventual victory that much more certain. To think like the top 1% is to realize that the obstacle is not in the way, the obstacle is the way. Every challenge is a custom-tailored training program designed to prepare you for the person you are becoming. Lesson 4. Build unshakable faith in yourself. Belief is the invisible engine of all tangible achievement. Before a building is raised or a company is founded, it must exist as an absolute certainty in the mind of its creator. The top 1% understand that the world rarely gives you more than you expect from yourself. While the average person waits for external proof before they believe in their own potential, the elite understand that belief is the cause, not the consequence, of success. This is not about blind arrogance or a detachment from reality. It is about a profound internal conviction that you possess the agency to figure things out, to learn what you do not know, and to persist until the world bends to your vision. Napoleon Hill placed immense importance on the concept of autosuggestion, recognizing that the subconscious mind is a fertile field that will grow whatever seeds are planted in it. Most people are gardeners of weeds. They spend their days whispering quiet limitations to themselves, dwelling on past mistakes and future anxieties. They say, "I've never been good with people," or "I'm just not a lucky person," and their subconscious dutifully fulfills those scripts. The top 1% are ruthlessly intentional about their internal dialogue. They treat their mind like a high-security vault, allowing only empowering, constructive thoughts to enter. They use affirmations and visualization not as woo-woo rituals but as psychological programming to override the default human tendency toward fear and doubt. Building unshakable faith is a practice of repetition. It is the act of standing in the face of contradictory evidence and choosing to believe in your vision anyway. When the bank account is low, when the critics are loud, and when the progress is slow, the elite do not waver. They understand that faith is a muscle that must be exercised in the dark. They replace "I can't" with "how can I," and "it's impossible" with "it hasn't been done yet." This shift in language is vital because the brain treats your declarations as commands. If you tell yourself you are not smart enough, your brain will actually shut down its creative problem-solving centers to remain consistent with your self-image. If you tell yourself you are a solver of problems, your brain will stay awake at night looking for the answer. Ultimately, faith is the antidote to the paralyzing fear of judgment. Most people are held back not by a lack of ability but by a fear of what others will think if they fail. The top 1% have cultivated a level of self-trust that renders the opinions of the spectator class irrelevant. They know that they are destined to win, and therefore a temporary embarrassment is just a small price to pay for a permanent breakthrough. They speak to themselves like a supportive coach, a visionary leader, and a loyal friend combined. They recognize that if they do not believe in themselves, nobody else will. By projecting an aura of certainty, they attract the people, the capital, and the opportunities that only flow toward those who know exactly where they are going. Lesson 5. Surround yourself with growth. The final and perhaps most overlooked secret of the top 1% is the realization that no one ever reaches the summit of greatness alone. We are social creatures and our consciousness is highly permeable. We soak up the attitudes, the vocabularies, and the energy of the people we spend the most time with. The elite are environmentalists in a psychological sense. They are incredibly protective of the social and intellectual climate they inhabit. They understand that you cannot think like a billionaire in a room full of people who are complaining about the cost of coffee. To ascend to the highest level, you must curate a mastermind group that challenges your assumptions and raises your baseline for what is possible. Napoleon Hill defined the mastermind as the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. He observed that when two minds come together, a third mind is created, a collective intelligence that is greater than the sum of its parts. This is why the top 1% seek out mentors, join high-level mastermind groups, and invest heavily in their networks. They want to be the smallest fish in the biggest pond because that is where the most growth occurs. If you are the smartest person in your circle is a cage. If you are surrounded by people who normalize excuses, you will eventually find yourself making them too, no matter how much willpower you have. Protecting your mental environment also extends to what you consume when you are alone. In a digital age, your environment includes your social media feed, the podcasts you listen to, and the news you absorb. The average person allows their mind to be a landfill for sensationalist headlines and toxic gossip. The top 1% treat their mind like a laboratory, carefully selecting the books, courses, and data that will fuel their definite purpose. They recognize that every piece of information is either an asset or a liability. If it doesn't expand your perspective, sharpen your skills, or strengthen your resolve, it is likely clutter that is slowing you down. They value silence and deep study over the constant noise of the crowd. Choosing your influences carefully is an act of courage because it often requires leaving behind the comfortable, the familiar, and even the well-meaning people who no longer align with your trajectory. This is the lonely part of the journey to the top 1%, but it is necessary. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, but you are also the average of the 5 ideas you most frequently entertain. By surrounding yourself with excellence, whether through physical proximity to high achievers or through the immortal words of great thinkers, you create a gravitational pull that drags you toward success. The elite guard their minds like valuable territory because they know that their future is being whispered into their ears every single day by the people and media they tolerate. Thinking like the top 1% is not about pretending to be someone else. It is about upgrading the way you process life. Your external world is built from your internal patterns. If you continue thinking the same way you did yesterday, next year may look painfully similar to today. Same fears, same excuses, same limitations. But if you begin changing your mental habits now, everything starts shifting. A clear purpose gives you direction. Discipline gives you momentum. Obstacles become lessons instead of excuses. Faith replaces hesitation, and a strong environment keeps you growing. This is how transformation begins, not with giant dramatic changes, but with a new standard of thinking. Napoleon Hill understood that wealth, success, influence, and achievement are first created mentally. Before the money appears, the mindset appears. Before the opportunity arrives, the preparation happens. Before results become visible, identity changes internally. The world often celebrates visible success while ignoring invisible preparation. But now you know the truth. The top 1% are not magical. They are mentally conditioned. And starting today, you can begin conditioning yourself the same way. Not tomorrow, not next month, not when circumstances improve. Starting now. Decide that your thoughts will no longer work against you. Decide that your habits will align with your future. Decide that your mindset deserves an upgrade. Because the life you want is not reserved for a lucky few. It is built by people who choose to think differently long before results arrive. If this message resonated with you, carry one lesson from today into action immediately. A new life rarely begins with a huge breakthrough. Sometimes it begins with a single new thought, and that thought can start right now.